one of those rare people at the moment that doesn't mind games being locked, capped, V-synced at 30 frames per second. And many of you may be thinking and saying right now, well, you don't know what 60 frames per second is like. You're wrong. I do. I clearly notice the motion is much smoother. Everything is faster on screen. Everything is smooth. Everything is precise. And I have to admit, if we're talking competitive games like Call of Duty or a fighter, I too demand 60 frames per second. Now you may be calling me a hypocrite. Well, I'm not, because I'm a single player gamer. When I talk about frames per second, I'm talking about my preferences, what I want. Not what you fucking want. I don't know you. If you're watching me, respect my opinions. Single player is key to me. But I do like to dabble my little toe in the online arena. I can get competitive, it's fun. It passes the time like a motherfucker. And Call of Duty is literally the best game to compare with the PC, the so-called master race and the consoles, because the game is so responsive, so twitchy. It's the closest you can get between a keyboard and mouse and a controller, because they design it to be fast, responsive. PC gamers need it, they literally need it. They can't play games at 30 frames per second because they click exactly where they want to go on screen, so if it's juttering, it's not very enjoyable. But on consoles, the controllers usually take a couple milliseconds and there's on-screen blur. It isn't as noticeable. It really fucking isn't. The only instance I can gather that I wouldn't like 30 frames per second is if the Xbox One randomly had 60. And then I would be asking myself, why ain't the PlayStation 4 at 60? So this is where we come to a crossroads. I'm a gamer, and so are you. You're a gamer, unless you're on the wrong video and thought this was a cooking channel. You're mental. I value the emotion, the content, the experience, the story, and everything that makes it engaging. And you cannot get that in an online game. I don't care what you say. I am not a deluded mongoloid that needs your approval. I've made my decision, I ain't changing for nobody. But I can respect yours if you put it in the comment in a reasonable way. Because on paper you may be the kind of gamer I hate. You buy games like Titanfall where it doesn't even have a single player, the game is 6v6, it doesn't offer anything innovative, but it's gonna be $1 billion seller or something stupid. While my fat chubby ass would be more at home happier playing Infamous Second Son, because I can play at my own rate, I can get invested in the story, I can be in my element, and I do not give a shit if it's 60 frames per second or 30, as long as it's solid, capped and no screen tearing, I can enjoy it. I do not need to get competitive with myself, I want to get lost in the game. And I will defend the 60 frames per second crowd a little bit, because some idiots believe that because movies are at 24 frames per second, you can't see anything higher. Well, that's stupid, because movies are not interactive, they don't move instantly. What you have to remember is consoles are enclosed, they're never gonna get any more power, there is what there is. And it's up to the developer's discretion if they want to improve the graphics, the frames per second, or the resolution. And as I told you, I'm in this for the immersion. I want the resolution and I want the graphics. I do not want a fluctuating frames per second going up and down, up and down. I want it solid and capped at 30 frames per second so they can push the graphics. I'm a